July the 13th. We do have a forum, but Mr. Jones not be Jones, I don't think. Mr. Miles, will you do the invocation for us?
Yes, sir. Yep.
All stand for the invocation, pledge allegiance.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the sunshine. We thank you for the green fields. We thank you for everyone who is assembled in this room, who is with us virtually on the telephone, and who is watching us. We ask your blessings on all the citizens of our county. We ask your blessings on us tonight. We ask for traveling mercies for those who are on their way and those who leave. We ask you to be with our armed forces who are protecting liberty and our freedoms abroad and at home, and we pray for those who have suffered from COVID and who continue to fight on the front lines. We ask that all things we say and do be according to your will. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a motion for approval of the agenda.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
So moved and second. Everybody in favor?
Bryant,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles,
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
Unanimous vote. Approval of minutes.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Moved to second. Approval of minutes. Call for the vote.
Bryant,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles,
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
Unanimous. Approval of claims.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. Second.
Moved to second. Approval of claims. Call for the vote.
Bryant,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles,
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
All right. For public comments due to the social distancing, number of people can gather, anyone wishing to comment on these hearings are being given the opportunity to do so by signing up to appear in person or mail or email your comments. Your voice comments must not exceed 3 minutes, and written comments must not exceed 500 words. Your email comments should be sent to Buckingham. The address is right there. Please say or list your name, district, either public comment or public hearing, and which hearing you are commenting on. I guess the first hearing, public hearing we have was proposal for the solid waste management ordinance. I declare that. Or any public comments?
We have two that phoned in, from Roy Knighton and Betty Smelser. They both wanted the same thing. They want the Board of Supervisors to ask VDOT to do a traffic study on Route 15 near Jack's, where the fatality crash happened on Saturday. It's a passing zone through there, and the speed limit reduction needs to be brought up through there. He believes that may have had something to do with the accident. Okay, and we have 6 that signed up. Teresa McManus, District 2. Joseph Anthony will be next.
Hi. Do I have to turn it on? You probably all can hear me anyway. I just handed Jordan Miles something so that he can pass one out to all of you to see what we're actually talking about. I I've come here tonight to ask permission from the board to sanction an organized militia of civilians for the county. I have talked to the police, I have talked to some of the state troopers, I have talked to some of the others. We want to be organized under the police and under you gentlemen. What we are looking for is to get the community involved. Nobody would have ever thought that a few months ago, or even last year, that we would be sitting in the situation that we're actually in. We are a sanctioned 2A amendment community. I did not ask half of the people who have signed the petition to come in because I knew about the social distancing. We don't want a bunch of people running around with guns in this community. We don't want people to go out and to express their 2 amendment rights. But we do want organized people who have been trained by our police and our local people, so that when we do, and if, God forbid, we do have a problem in this area, this county, that we can actually go out as an organized civilian militia to help our fellow community, our people. It is about community now. It is about helping each other and being there to be for our neighbors. It's something that I think we have forgotten as people, is how to stand up and to help each other in the community. Not to be individuals in the community, but to be a community of people to help each other in times of trouble. Whether it is a natural disaster or it is a disaster of somebody coming in and causing problems, it is something that we need to do to become organized and to help each other. I would like to see each district have their own organization, so that the Mayfield, the Whitehall, the Arvonia, every district would have their leaders, so that our sheriff or our state troopers could call and say to those people, we need your help. There is a disaster. People are coming in. There's a tornado, a hurricane. Something has happened, and we need help from the people. If we do that, and it is organized correctly, it should be done quite effectively. If there is a top tier of people that the sheriff can call in a time of trouble, and then those people have other people to do. The only way we can do that is to become organized, and we are looking for your guidance and your help to keep us organized and to keep us in the boundaries of the law. We do not want to be someone who are first responders. We have the police for that. Our second responders are our firefighters and our EMT. We should be the third response if we are needed in any type of community problem here. That's what I'm here, is to look to see if the Board of Supervisors will grant permission to let us have a local militia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joseph Anthony, District 4.
Hello, my name is Joseph Anthony. I'm from Maysville District. My comment regards the Confederate monument in front of Buckingham County Courthouse. To the Honorable Board, I submit that the monument should be permanently removed. It is a blight on the county and our shared values of freedom and equality. It declares that Confederate soldiers fought for, quote, a cause they knew to be just, unquote. But slavery was anything but a just cause, and it is time to bring Buckingham County into the 21st century by removing the monument. This request has been made by myself multiple times over the years to multiple supervisors of the Maysville District where the monument resides, namely to John Staten and Morgan Donovan, who preceded the current supervisor, Jordan Miles. If now, at this moment in history, we still can't marshal the will to remove the monument, I further request that a plaque be prominently and permanently placed in front of it that states the cause to which the monument still stands is that African Americans were systematically dehumanized for profit. To do nothing while racist monuments across the country are finally toppled is to legitimize our own racist monument. It may not have a Confederate general on the pedestal, but it does proclaim in no uncertain terms to anyone who reads it that racism in Buckingham is tolerated or ignored by the citizenry and leadership. Now is a moment to change, not the past, but the future of this county. Thank you for your time and consideration of this most important of issues. Can I leave a written copy of this here?
Okay.
Thank you.
Eddie Slagle, District 3.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Ms. Carter, Ms. Edmondson. First of all, I'd like to send out an attaboy to Jennifer for taking the minutes in these meetings on the adverse conditions. I was reading through, and you can't hear, you can't, and she was interjecting those points. And so I'd like to thank her for the job that she's doing on taking the minutes under these new adverse conditions that we have. First of all, since we have public comment tonight, it would be nice if the county would notify the public of this new change. Because if you don't read the Herald or you don't access the county website, you're unaware of the procedure. And the internet service in this county, to say the least, is poor. I had to download the agendas more than 6 just so I could get it downloaded. And I was curious how many public comments have been made since this whole process went into effect. And the other thing is, what's happening with the rescue squad. I was reading the agenda. Is it being contracted, buying new equipment, employing the county employees? The whole procedure seems a little confusing. Under the committee reports and requests, they want to release $50,000 to the rescue squad. Then they want to release another $53,000 for the purpose of grant match for a new unit. And over on number 14, they're talking about purchasing a new rescue squad vehicle with the CARES money. So it's a little confusing as to what the path forward is with the rescue squad. And my personal opinion is you're going to increase my real estate taxes again by 11%. After the recent 17% increase that I heard, 28% in 1 year, it would really be nice to know what the path forward is for the rescue squad. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Slagle, since you don't have internet access, who's your supervisor?
I do have some sort of internet access, but my download speed is like 0.2.
But you have a supervisor in your district, correct?
I do, yes. Mr. Matthews.
So you could have contacted Mr. Matthews with your questions as well.
Probably could have.
Okay, thank you.
Joe Breland, District 5.
Hello. I also wanted to ask about I think we need more organization. We are having things happen in our country and in our state that we had never anticipated. I think most of us, from the pandemic to social upheaval. And the closest thing we've had to militia, we haven't needed the old traditional militias for many years. Closest thing we have to that are the volunteer fire departments and the volunteer rescue squads. That's all we needed. I think we need to think about being more organized. I was thinking that back in January, New Year's, I would never have thought that here we are in July facing things that I just would never have imagined in a country. So I think we need more organization. But like Teresa said, we don't want to be a bunch of yahoos with guns doing what we want. We want rule of law, and our purpose is to preserve rule of law and to back up our sheriff and the authorities with rule of law. So what we would like is that we're already organizing, talking to friends and neighbors, but we would like the sanction and authorization of the Board of Supervisors. We would like you to authorize the organization, because the people, the armed population are already the unorganized militia. And we would like you to authorize the organizing and the mustering of the old traditional community militias that were back in colonial times until life got so good that we didn't really need them. So we want to be a rule of law organization backing the sheriff if the sheriff ever needed us. And so we're asking for to consider what's going on in the country, and maybe we can, this also is a way of organizing the community a little better, getting more people involved in what's going on in our community and becoming more responsible, taking personal responsibility for the community. So I hope you'll take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gwen Robinson, District 4.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Quinn Robinson. I live out in Andersonville. I couldn't hear the other speakers. Can you hear me? All right, thank you. I wanted to repeat some of the things I've said throughout the previous 6 years about the pipeline, and that I believe we're all environmentalists. We just have to recognize it and act upon it. And it's unfortunate that this pandemic has descended on us, but it's revealed a lot of things. The inadequacy of the healthcare system and the lack of anticipation of these extraordinary needs. And we end up paying more in this circumstance just to get things right again than had we not put that money into a system that takes care of everybody's health. I'm a little surprised to be here with this tonight, but it's important. We learned a lot, and there are more things coming. And I hope that everybody who participated with the opposition to the pipeline keeps their documents. There may be some things developing from this that will be helpful. And the last time I spoke to folks, I suggested the virtual meetings. What a nightmare it turned out to be. I watched most of them, can't hear a thing. Half of what is said is described in the minutes is inaudible, horrible. It's not the way it was intended to be communicated. You're going to do it right, or just postpone everything until the coast is cleared for the pandemic and all that. It's nonsense. It really is. And I tried to find out what the situation was for tonight's meeting on the website. It's very difficult to navigate. You've got overlays of information on the main page, and it's difficult to search. And things are very slow out there. It takes a long time for these documents to come up. I think that you'd do better to fix it soon, or just stop doing it. It's not worth it. You're doing more harm. If anybody from the outside watches this stuff, they're going to say, I don't want anything to do with this guy. It's not worth it. It's a disaster. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kenda Hardeman, District 5.
I'm really wondering how many people in the county know that there's 2 Canadian gold mining companies that are looking at Buckingham to start doing gold mining here. The people I talk to don't seem to know. So I'm hoping that the board knows this. I believe it's in District 5. I have some links, and I'll leave them with you in case you don't have access to this. But once again, our county is being targeted as a sacrifice zone to bring in something that will pollute and extract and leave the citizens vulnerable. So I hope that you will educate yourself on this and let citizens know what the status is. I'll quote Martin Luther King Jr. again. Cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Expediency asks the question, is it politic? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? But conscience asks the question, is it right? And there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but one must take it because it is right. Thank you.
That's all. That's all.
Okay.
Did you leave the paper?
Where would you like it? You want me to leave it out front?
We have some information on it, we've been looking into it.
We did, okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
I think the next thing is a public hearing on the, whole solid waste management ordinance. I'll open the public hearing now. Any comments on that? Or-
Eddie Slagle, District 3.
District 3. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Bryant for pointing out that he's underutilizing my supervisor. I tried to do that, but the reason for some of the comments I made was not everyone has a good supervisor like I do that you can contact and get information from. As far as the solid waste, last year Buckingham gave away $18,400 in free access to the solid waste facility. And I don't feel like anyone should have free access. If one of us has to pay to access the waste facility, everybody has to have to pay, except the first responders. The first responders should be the only ones that are given free access to the waste facility. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
That's all. Anybody have anything else to say about it?
Yeah, some of these exempt, not legally exempt or claims to be exempt, it's not a really good definition of what they're speaking of. I would like to understand it a little better, so might tell me a little more about it before we vote on it. I mean, I had an idea that they were going, you have to pay for your decals on your regular vehicles. And I'm looking at the one for the farm vehicles. And then once you prove that you're a farmer, you get a decal. But I mean, it doesn't, it goes back to exempt. I don't know exactly what you want to call it, exempt. What you want to say is exempted. I mean, they get a free decal, or does exempt mean that they have to pay more? There's no definition of what you got for exempt.
The county doesn't have authority to charge a solid waste fee. So in order to charge a fee to farmers that want to farm use or to a resident, a property owner that lives outside the county, we can't charge them a fee. We are petitioning the General Assembly this year to allow us to do a solid waste fee. And then when we do that, then we could. But presently, right now, you do not have the authority to do that. So that, I think, and Danny and I talked a little bit about this today. What if the exempt part, I think it's saying you're not exempt if you have a vehicle that should be registered in our county and is not, and the taxes are not up to date on it. Those are some of the requirements before you can get, before non-resident property owners or farmers can get a permit to enter them. I think when we, and some of the solid waste committee helped me a little bit here, with the exempt part, I think it's just showing that you're not exempt if you not done all these things here, so, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I've got a question.
Mainly, that's what it covered, Danny. It was covered people that own land in Buckingham that do not reside in Buckingham.
But they do pay real estate tax.
Yeah, but as long as their real estate taxes are paid, then they would be exempt.
And-
Exempt from
and-
what? From buying a
Right.
decaf?
Yeah. And if they,
Yeah.
and if they don't have a vehicle registered in the county that is not required to have a county decal, then they are exempt from having to buy a county decal.
Well, our residents of the county needs to pay their taxes and pay for the decals on their regular vehicles
Right.
before
Right.
they get anything, but the
Right.
people out of the county.
Okay, so let's say
They
I
have
own
to
land
pay
in
the
the county.
taxes.
But as long as let's say I live in Alexandria, okay? And I just come down here once or twice a year, I own land down here, okay? My vehicles are registered up there,
Right.
so I'm subject to their personal property taxes. I don't live in Buckingham, I live there, but I do own land here. In order to get a sticker when I'm down here for my, weekend or week's vacation down here, as long as my real estate taxes are paid, then I'm exempt. Then I can get the sticker.
But you gotta prove that if you make residential trash.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
We check the taxes, we check that they're resident by checking their taxes, and they would have to sign a form saying they would only dispose of household waste.
So that
Certainly,
means
we
that-
can't monitor it all the time and know that they do, but they are signing a form saying that that is all they will dispose of. That's also true with the farmers on it too.
That was my question, Mr. Chairman, in terms of the applicability to farmers as the current ordinance is currently being enforced. It's the same, right? And in terms of what has to be produced in terms of evidence for them to get the sticker.
right.
Right, okay.
Years past, some of the things were not required. They've upped the ante a little bit to prove that you're a farmer. Like the Schedule F from your tax return, and several things were registered DMV, registration card from DMV showing that your vehicle is registered in the county. So those things, those people have to prove those things if you
Right, and
were producing $1,000 or more.
right with receipts.
Of farm.
And I would add, Mr. Chairman, that I've talked to several farmers who reside in my district, and that includes the president of Farm Bureau, and he said that they're very comfortable as long as it's being applied to the way that county staff is now, which it is, in terms of their access, and that's one per.
One per.
Exactly, and I think that's where the controls come in that one of our public speakers was talking about, that the Solid Waste Committee has recommended. I'm very comfortable with
And
it.
I mean, the truth of some of the things that were happening was people would have brand new expensive trucks and slap a Tractor Supply farm use on it, and they wouldn't have to pay taxes on it or get a decal for it. So this will require them to sign documents to say they do farm.
And there's a clear list of requirements there to me, it's clear what you would have to provide. And it's, again, similar to the way it is now.
This just kind of spells it out more.
Right. I would move we adopt the ordinance, Mr. Chairman.
We need to adopt the ordinance now or later.
Yes, sir, if the hearing is closed, you have an
Close the
option
hearing.
of adopting it now.
Close the hearing.
All right. Any other comments? Public hearing on the proposed solid waste management ordinance is closed. I hear a motion that we adopt this ordinance.
I move we adopt the ordinance, Mr. Chairman, as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded, we adopt the solid waste ordinance. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to say something. I think there needs to be a thank you to the Solid Waste Committee for coming up with this. I know It looks like a lot of work was put into this and a lot of thought. And I'm sure Mr. Wright had a lot to do with this, and Ms. Carter. So this just wasn't something that was pulled out of the air. These people did a lot of work to get this thing right. And I do appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Any other comments? Call for the vote.
Bryant,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles,
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
Motion is unanimous. I guess we're over the public hearing now for the zoning administrator. Her thing. Nikki, you want to present your?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Tonight we'll have a public hearing on case 20-SUP-272. This is for Amos Stoltzfus. He's our landowner and applicant, and his request tonight is to obtain a special use permit to operate a private school, a one-room schoolhouse. He's located at tax map 128, parcel 12, containing approximately 144 acres, located at 1744 Bell Branch Road, Dillwyn, in the Curtisville Magisterial District. Zoning district is A1. As I mentioned, the property is on Bell Branch Road, Route 667. It's currently zoned A1. The zoning ordinance does not permit a private school as a permitted use. However, within the A1 agricultural district, private schools may be permitted by the Buckingham County Board of Supervisors by special use permit following recommendation by the Planning Commission in accordance with this ordinance and the Code of Virginia. Mr. Stoltzfus has indicated in his written narrative as part of the special use permit application that this is a one-room Amish parochial school. This private school would house one teacher and a maximum of 35 students. Mr. Stoltzfus states that the school would begin session around the last week of August and end session by the third week of May the following year. School-age children would range from 5 years to 10 months to 13 years of age, and Mr. Stoltzfus also included the dimensions of the schoolhouse to be a 30 by 42, including an 8 by 20 porch with a 3/4 acre of fenced-in playground. Mr. Stoltzfus, along with some other members of the Amish community, are here tonight to answer any questions that may arise as well.
Okay. Yes, we need to, I think it was approved by the Planning Commission.
Open public hearing.
Huh?
Public hearing.
Yep.
All right. The public hearing is open for the zoning on this one-room schoolhouse. Any
No one
comments?
signed up to
No
speak.
comments on it? Anybody on the board have anything to say? I guess we'll vote on it. The request for special use permit.
Mr. Chairman,
We have a motion on that.
I make a motion to go approve. Second.
Motion made and seconded, we issue this special use permit to operate a private school. Any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Bryant,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles,
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
Motion unanimous, carried. Next public hearing we have is from the county zoning administrator. Like that, solar applicant.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. The next public hearing is regarding to case 20-SUP-273, in which Macy Welsh is the landowner and Black Bear Solar LLC is the applicant. Their request is to obtain a special use permit for a solar generating facility for the purpose of constructing and operating a solar energy generating facility for up to 1.6 megawatts in capacity. All energy to be sold to the Dominion. This tax map is 114, parcel 8, lot 3, containing approximately 109 acres. It's at 3003 Bell Branch Road. The property is currently zoned A1. The zoning ordinance does not permit a public utility generating plant as permitted use. However, within the A1 agricultural district, public utility generating plants, public utility booster or relay stations, transformer substations, meters and other facilities, including rural areas and facilities and water and sewage facilities, may be permitted by the Buckingham County Board of Supervisors by special use permit following recommendation by the planning commission in accordance with the ordinance of the Code of Virginia. The Ordinance Commission may recommend that the board may impose conditions to ensure protection of the district if the special use permit is approved. Black Bear Solar LLC explains this project within their project narrative. This proposed solar generating facility will encompass approximately, and it's actually in one of the conditions listed below, would be a 10-acre site for the solar panels with an additional 3 acres surrounding those solar panels, for a total of 13 acres in the midst of the 109-acre parcel. This does come to you with a recommendation from the planning commission, and the applicants, Black Bear Solar, are available tonight via Zoom.
Any comments on that?
We have 2 signed up. Quinn Robinson, District 4.
Good evening, Quinn Robinson, District 4, is about municipality. The magic word here is dominion. What is going on? Have they submitted this to FERC? Is it part of that? Is it checked out? And it's, the other 2 solar farms, which is great, I'm glad they're going in that direction. But they were private things started and then sold to Dominion. This seems to be the same thing. And if they're responsible to FERC for energy regulation, then there should be some acknowledgement or waving of the wand in this. It's just, it's so irregular. But again, it's great to have it, but don't leave any holes. Thank you.
Kelly Snoddy, Peter Francisco Solar and Water.
Good evening. I am here as a staff person for the Solar and Water District tonight. We are not speaking for or against the solar farm. We are just raising an awareness topic for you tonight to consider for future planning events as well as this one. Ms. Welch is one of our landowners for one of these watershed flood control structures. This parcel in particular is not connected to the watershed dam. However, we wanted you to be aware that with future development and changing of our land use, the watershed flood control dams are still here. They do have designated dam break inundation zones below them, and changes in land use around the water body itself does change the increase of sediment into the lake, which is part of its protection, is sediment control and flood control. The Solar and Water District operates and maintains the dams in accordance with dam safety laws. We have an easement to ingress and egress for maintenance of the dams, which means the crossing parcels that might be affected by future planning. So we just want that to be on your radar for any future topics, and let you know that we're here if you have any questions on anything else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kelly, are you saying that this particular project is not within?
Yes, ma'am. The current parcel that has been identified in your project is owned by Ms. Welch, but it is up the road from one of them. She does own a parcel that connects to one of the other dams, but that one has not been designated as of yet for a solar.
Thank you.
So, what you saying now? So the solar farm is next to the
It's down
The
the road.
watershed.
Yeah, it's down the road. It does not connect to it. It is not within the dam break inundation zone. But when I heard her name and the location, I inquired with Ms. Edmondson just to make sure. And so because of that, Ms. Edmondson requested I come and speak with you tonight just to raise your awareness. Don't forget they're there.
How far is it from the watershed?
Probably 2-3 miles up the road,
Okay.
north of it, but not downstream of it.
But it's not gonna hinder you from inspecting.
No, sir. Not currently.
They've met all the other requirements that they needed to meet, As far as you know, right?
Sorry, that.
They're legit, so it's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
That's all the comments. Board have any comments on
I've got a question for Ms. Edmondson, Mr. Chairman. Or Ms. Carter, one I should say. In terms of the machinery and tools tax, is it true that the project, because it's less than 5 megawatts, would be exempt until July of 2030 from any machinery and tools tax?
As indicated by a memo that Black Bear Solar actually answered some of the questions that you had from last month, and I believe that Mr. Wright, our county attorney. Supervisor Miles, in an effort to address your question along with a few others that you had, Black Bear Solar composed a memo last week, which I forwarded to the board to explain and answer some of those questions. If you look on page 3 of that memo, because this proposed solar farm is less than 5 megawatts, yes, it's 100% exemption until July 1st, 2030. There were a couple other questions you had in regards to the new legislation that our county attorney, Mr. Wright, will address for you as well.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? I'll call for a motion for this special use permit for Black Bear Solar.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, what did you say? We were having some mic issues.
Say it again, last time I couldn't hear it.
I believe, did you address me with something as I was walking down here, because I was more focused on whether or not this microphone was working?
No.
Okay.
We have a motion to approve this. How many motion to approve this, Jim?
Second.
Motion made and seconded that we approve this Black Bear Solar applicant for special use permit. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, the only thing I would add, sir, is that when we're considering, we've got on the agenda, and of course, this is a code of Virginia. This is not anything that any locality has done, but they get 100% tax exemption from machinery and tools. And I know it is a small project, but other projects also get tax abatements. And I don't think when we are considering increasing any sort of tax on the locality, we need to lose any money, and we will be losing money on machinery and tools on this project because of what's in this Code of Virginia, not because of anything we've done.
I think a state made that law that it's under a certain production of electricity, doesn't have to have it, so nothing we can do about that. Motion made second, call for the vote.
Brian?
Yes.
Matthews?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Allen?
Yes.
Miles?
No.
Chambers?
Yes.
5 yes, 1 no, motion carried. There are no presentations at this time. Committee and commission agency department reports request report on CARES fund status. Rescue squad committee, consider rescue squad committee's recommendation.
I believe the first item is the report on the CARES fund status. So the county, to date, the county has purchased personal protective equipment, supplies to add shields for the desks of the county employees, circuit court and social services that are working face-to-face with the public. Also purchases of personal protective equipment for the sheriff's department. We have purchased supplies to disinfect all offices and buildings. We have used some of the money to pay for the additional rescue squad crew that is at the Glenmore building, and also made repairs and furnish the building to make it make it usable as a rescue squad station. We also plan to use CARES money to continue to pay for the rescue squad crew until the end of December, and that's the one crew that the county did put on at the Glenmore station. It is not the crews that are on with the volunteer squad right now. So we provided you, Cody and Carl have worked and provided you a list of how the money has been spent so far. The county did receive $1,496,097. We are required to allocate a certain amount to the town of Dillon, and Dillon's allocation is $38,396.78. And later in the agenda, I will ask you to consider approval and agreement with the town allowing for this allocation. I also have a request from Virginia Tech and Holiday Lake 4-H Educational Center for $10,000 in order to continue to provide their educational programs as they cancel 4-H camps and conferences due to the governor's executive order. They have lost money. Again, we will talk about that later in the agenda. Another item being reviewing and needs due to the governor's executive order in order to not assemble but with a certain number of people. And some of you will like this part, the ability to effectively communicate virtually with the public for public meeting is important. And as you notice, some of our audio is not working well, and Jamie does the best he can do with what we have. We have had complaints from the public that they cannot hear or understand what is being said. So due to the virtual operating of the meetings, we can't use our voting machines. So we are looking into the cost to upgrade this system in order to communicate better with the public during this pandemic and then perhaps on through, because I think a lot of people do like the virtual meetings also. But we will need to look into the cost of that, and we also will need to see if it qualifies under the CARES program. Also, due to the COVID-19 need for emergency services, squad services, we will be recommending to purchase a new rescue squad vehicle that has the ability to sanitize the squad vehicles and all equipment after every delivery of a patient. But not only that, the squad vehicles that the rescue squad has now are not in good condition, and we're going to soon need to purchase rescue squad vehicles. So we have found and got a rendering from our county attorney that the CARES money can be used to purchase this. So later in this agenda, we will ask you to take a vote to approve that. Another qualified use of the money is to offer grants to qualified small businesses in the county that have had to either shut down or have lost significant sales and revenue. I also have this request later in the agenda for your review. But the attached report does demonstrate the use of the CARES money. And if you concur with the additional requests that we have talked about right now, which would include $30,000 for those small business grants, then you would be left with, and if you do the $10,000 for the tech, 4-H, and also the youth league is now asking for $10,000, you would still have a balance of $591,667. And we don't know what this COVID's going to do. So this money has to be spent by the end of December, but it also has to, we have to use it for what we would need if this would rear its ugly head again, which we're having a little bit of that. So that's a report that we have provided you there with and listed everything so far that's been purchased. We've also included the things that we know, such as the rescue squad for Glenmore through the end of the year. And the next item is the rescue squad committee. consider Rescue Squad Committee's recommendation to release $50,000 budgeted money to Buckingham County Rescue Squad. So now might be my time to address some concerns that we've heard tonight. What are we doing here? What is the county looking to do? I will read you a letter. Or maybe I'll ask Cody Davis if he would come to the mic and read a letter from the president of the and chief of the Buckingham County Volunteer Rescue Squad. This will start us off with what we're looking at.
Good evening, gentlemen. This letter is to you all, the Buckingham County Board of Supervisors, from President and Chief Kerry Flippin. It reads, I am writing this letter on behalf of myself and the members of Buckingham County Volunteer Rescue Squad. We're in full support of the memorandum of transition between Buckingham County Volunteer Rescue Squad and Buckingham County Emergency Services. We realize that Buckingham County Volunteer Rescue Squad can no longer support the needs of the citizens of Buckingham County. We do not have the finances nor the manpower to do so. The administrative side of the squad has become more than the volunteer staff can handle. The squad has become a several $100,000 a year business, not just a volunteer organization. Members give what time they can, but they have their own lives to live. Members just do not have the time that is needed to manage such a business. This transition, however, does not mean an end to EMS volunteering in the county. The volunteer group that is in place now will continue to be a part of Buckingham EMS. This group will continue to provide as much support as they can. They will continue to recruit and train new members. This group will continue to train themselves and work with the county to help provide the best service possible for the citizens of the county. Volunteering will continue to have a place in Buckingham County EMS. Buckingham County Volunteer Rescue Squad wants to extend our gratitude and thanks to the Board of Supervisors for their support through the years. Without that support, we would not have made it this long. To the citizens of Buckingham County, thank you for your support financially and for your words of encouragement over the years. The thank you notes and encouraging words mean more than you will ever know. We ask that you continue to support the county in this new endeavor as you have supported Buckingham County Volunteer Rescue Squad. Respectfully submitted, Kerry Flippin, President and Chief, Buckingham County Volunteer Rescue Squad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe hang around, there might be some questions. But what the county has been looking at, the Rescue Squad Committee with Cody Davis, our emergency services manager's help and guidance, is we were looking at taking over the rescue squad. And be the middle of December is when their contract runs out with, the rescue squad's contract runs out with their contractors, who they contract the service out with. Mr. Flippin is retiring from the rescue squad at the end of December, so we felt this was the time that the county should take action to do this. The county expects, and we hope at the public hearing, when we get ready to do this, Mr. Davis will give a complete overview of what we need to do, how we need to do it. But the plan is, because of Mr. Sagel's question, is to continue to contract out the services for a year to 2 years until we get a better grip on how we're doing this, and then the county would hire their own staff, is what the plan is to do with that. So I'll lead to the next, hang around. The next is to consider Rescue Squad Committee's recommendation to release $50,000 budgeted money to the Buckingham County Rescue Squad. We did budget $200,000 every year for the Rescue Squad. However, the county's been monitoring that before it's released for purposes such as the reason this is needing to be released, and that is for them to pay their contract monthly amount with the DRT provider. So at this time, we would ask the board to consider the Rescue Squad Committee's recommendation to release $50,000 of budgeted money to the Buckingham County Rescue Squad.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded that we approve the $53,000 for the Buckingham County Rescue Squad. Any other discussion?
$50,000, J2.
Okay, I got you, 53 down below that. Okay, 50,000, question. Any discussion?
What does that leave them?
It leaves them, I think,
Another
$50,000.
from last year, it's not counting coming
Okay,
We're starting a new year, July 1, so.
okay.
There's
So we're
money
actually doing
money
good.
there.
I just want to say something, that they have done a really good job. I am on the committee, on the rescue squad committee along with, Mr. Allen. And, you know, the rescue squad has shown a lot of progress over the last couple of years, even though volunteerism is down, not just in Buckingham County, but across the nation. And we pleaded and asked and begged people to try to help the rescue squad over the years. We've seen this thing kind of unfolding over the last 4 or 5 years. So we've tried to prepare ourselves for this. Unfortunately, that day has come, and it's come quicker than we had anticipated. The COVID-19 has had a lot to do with that, and we just want the citizens of Buckingham County to know that, you know, we're looking after their best interests and trying to take care of the issue at hand. And I just want to take my hat off to the Buckingham County Volunteer Rescue Squad. Also, they realized that during this pandemic, they could not handle what was actually happening and going on. So, you know, there's a lot of things that have evolved into this scenario. So, I just don't want you to think that this has just happened overnight. It has not.
All the volunteers have done real good. This is a few months from being 50 years that they've been doing this in Buckingham County. So it's not like it's something overnight, but they've done good, and and we're slowly going to take over.
The county has posted recruiting, trying to recruit people, and it's just, people have to work. And the truth is, a lot of people get paid now to do what they're volunteering to do. So that's a lot of what it's come down to. Most all of your fire and rescue workers now are paid.
That was one of the issues. I went with Cody to the last meeting of the rescue squad, and that was one of the things that the volunteers said is, you know, I've got a life, you know, I've got a job, and sometimes it's tough to work all day, and then, you know, then you're gonna expect me to work some of the night. I just can't do it, you know, I got a family, and, you know, I share their concerns, so.
Well, I did it for 27 years. I was an EMT instructor for 19 years, so I know what it is to sacrifice for it. Any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Bryant,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
Motion unanimous, carried. Okay.
Okay, the next item is to consider the Rescue Squad Committee's recommendation to release an additional $53,000 of the Buckingham County Rescue Squad budgeted money for the purpose of a grant match, or 20% of a grant for a new Rescue Squad vehicle. The Rescue Squad applied to the Commonwealth Regional Council for a grant to purchase a vehicle, and they were awarded that, but they do have to pay 20% of that, so that's $53,000. And again, this is already budgeted money. It's nothing new you would have to budget. So I ask you to consider that, please.
Make a motion that we accept and release 53,000 for the squad.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made and seconded that we release $53,000 for a new squad vehicle. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Bryant,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous.
There is some discussion, Mr. Chairman, if I may make a statement on that.
Okay.
I think Ms. Carter hit on it a little bit. You know, times have been so tight for the rescue squad over the past several years that their equipment, they spend a lot of money on repairs and trying to keep their stuff up to date, but it comes a point in time when you have to draw the line on where you think that needs to be. So this is part of that right there, but they did go through it the right way, apply for a grant to CRC, it saved the county $250,000 by doing that. And, you know, we want to get started off on the right foot moving forward with equipment and things that the rescue squad needs.
Yes.
The next item is to consider the squad committee's recommendation again to approve a memorandum of transition between the Buckingham County Volunteer Rescue Squad and the Buckingham County Board of Supervisors. We have provided you a copy of that. That has already been approved by the Buckingham County Volunteer Rescue Squad, and I believe Mr. Davis was at the meeting, and also Supervisor Bryan. So that has already been approved by them and signed, I believe. So now we ask you all to consider that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, we approve this memorandum of transition between the Buckingham County Volunteer Rescue Squad and the Buckingham County Board of Supervisors. In discussion? Call for the vote.
Bryant,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous.
The next item is to consider a motion to request the assets from the Buckingham County Volunteer Rescue Squad to be relinquished to the Buckingham County Emergency Services Department immediately. And although this would take place in December, I think we need to have an opportunity to see what we have there, what we need to do, and access the equipment. They would still be running and run the calls and everything, but because the rescue squad building and everything will transfer over with that to our emergency services department. And with that being said, this is a whole new department for the county. We're transitioning from emergency services, dealing with disasters and emergencies, to actually emergency medical providers too. So we asked you to approve a motion to request the assets from the Buckingham County Volunteer Rescue Squad be relinquished to the Buckingham County Emergency Services Department.
So moved.
Second.
Moved seconded, we is the assets of the county rescue squad to the EMS. In discussion? Call for the vote.
Bryant,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
Unanimous, carried, motion carried.
And number 6, I will ask Mr. Davis to address that.
Good evening again. Ms. Carter alluded to this a moment ago. Number 6 reads, the recommendation of the Rescue Squad Committee to consider a recommendation of the Rescue Squad Committee to adopt a resolution that will transition the Emergency Services Department currently in place within the administration structure to the Buckingham County Emergency Services, and declaring the Buckingham County Emergency Services Department as the designated emergency medical response agency. So it would give, you all would be giving the Emergency Services Department the authority to pursue an EMS medical license and then ultimately provide care under that license. That is not something that is in place at this time.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, we get the proper papers and so on for the squad. In discussion? Call for the vote.
Bryant,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous.
And number 7 doesn't require action from the board, but I'll ask Mr. Davis to comment on that. That is regarding Dr. Farina.
I won't read it verbatim, but I just wanted you all to know, she offered to help in any way possible during this transition. She is actually the spearhead for an identical transition over in Greene County. Her and I come from a very similar mindset regarding this. Her importance in this is that she is the operational medical director that oversees Buckingham County EMS at this time. The letter reads that not only will she transition that oversight from the current structure in place to the new one, but that also she feels that this transition is just a sign of the times and that she is in support of it. Again, I reiterate, she's offered her assistance to come to any roundtable meetings or be included in anything that we feel would benefit from her presence at. And then I'm happy to answer any questions on that item also.
The next item, what all this leads up to consider the Rescue Squads Committee's recommendation to schedule a public hearing to consider a 5-cent tax increase for the purpose of funding the Buckingham County Emergency Services Department in its new responsibility as the Emergency Medical Response Agency for the county. And with that, we would also have to have a hearing to amend our budget accordingly to add that into our budget. Now, I'd like to say something before the board talks about this. I've been here 34, 35 years. I've never seen the county have to, in the middle of a year, impose a tax increase on their citizens. So this hasn't been taken lightly. They have worked hard to try to come up with a way to fund this because it is an expensive deal. And I believe when the county operates it, more is going to be expected. We won't be able to say the volunteer didn't show up or we're sorry. We have the full responsibility of it. Now, this committee recommendation is look more toward real estate because you can capture the State Corporation Commission money at a real estate rate. So looking at personal property, you get about $11,000 a penny, where real estate you would get about $214,000 a penny. Should the county elect to do an emergency services district and impose a fee for just for that, then it would need 5-cent real estate. If on the real estate value, they'd have to impose a 5-cent emergency medical fee. If they put it on real estate, which is collected twice a year, they can capture that State Corporation Commission tax, which you can't on the fee for emergency management. So that's why they have kind of gone down this road. But I think some board members may have some comments about this, because there may be other ways to look at this. So
Mr.
I'll
Chairman,
open this up for discussion.
if you don't mind, I'd like to table this and give Ms. Carter some more time to look at this, maybe develop, some different ways that we can look at it.
And I'd second that.
Then it's not so much of a shock.
It's got to be done, and you all, I think,
Right.
are trying to.
I would like to go in knowing that this is the best avenue that we have. I know that we lowered the tax rate 3 cents, and there were several of us that mourned that it was a bad move, but we never saw the rescue squad coming. Not this soon. It was looming, but I didn't think it would be this soon. So I would like to table the action on J8 for at least another month and let Ms. Carter take a look at it again.
How much time do you have, Ms. Carter?
In order to get whatever you do on the taxes for the next, the real estate does twice a year tax billing. Personal property will be due in December. I believe since this is something completely new, that by September you should make a decision. So if you table this until next month to come back, we'll give you some different scenarios and have the hearing in September. Wouldn't want to push it any further.
Right.
Because of the changes that have to be made with the Commissioner Revenue's office.
I'd just like to say something too, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Allen and I have really worked diligently along with Ms. Carter and Carl Carter and Mr. Wright, and I'd be the first one to tell you I'm not interested in going up on taxes, but this is something that is required by the the county of Buckingham, if we take this thing over, it's not something that we have to, that we're going to take very lightly. It's something we need to provide to the citizens of Buckingham County. And with that being said, you know, it's in my heart that, you know, my first concerns are for the citizens of Buckingham County as far as the money that we spend, or that is the revenue that is generated in the county. I don't take that lightly. That's at the top of my list as far as my responsibilities in this county and to the citizens of this county. So I just want everyone to know that's listening and that are in this room that there's been a lot of head scratching and a lot of stuff that's going on here to try to get this to this point. And you know, Mr. Flippin himself, I think, did a great job in his letter. You know, they understood the severity of this thing. They couldn't handle it, and at least they're putting us in a position to be successful in the long run. We don't want to do this in the midterm of a year, but some things have to be done.
Well, you can't put a price on somebody's life, so.
That's right. And,
don't worry about that.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
It's gotta be done, it's gotta be done.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate Mr. Bryan and Mr. Bryant understanding the importance of what's going on here. And this isn't something we want to do. We need to do it immediately, but it's got to be a lot more thought put in this situation before we actually come to terms with it. So anyway, I thank you for your understanding.
Mr. Chairman, may I add one small comment? I appreciate your due diligence in tabling that to think on it further, but I would like to, Mr. Miles and I discussed this earlier, let everybody know who's listening and watching that we, as we move into this thing, will be having more EMS services in this county than ever before, and we will also be putting them back into parts of the county that they have not been for quite some time. So, you know, results of money spent will be seen rather immediately.
Thank you.
Thank you too, Mr. Davis.
Thank you.
The next thing is, I'm asking, Carla.
We need to vote.
They would take action.
Make a motion, you don't.
I think.
Just to table, would be just take no action on it.
That'll work.
But just take no action on it.
No action.
Yeah, maybe we can bring it up again next
We
week.
don't need a motion on that.
That'll work.
Mr. Carter.
Good evening, board members. In your packet, you have a revenue comparison chart for the month of June, showing June 2019 compared to June 2020, this current fiscal year. Last month I gave you an update, and it was a big difference between the real estate numbers. We were like, I think, short of $1 billion last year, and I said last month we had a lot of mail that had to be processed, and we're praying that that will get a lot closer. So I'm happy to provide you tonight that number did come a lot closer. As a matter of fact, it's a little bit more than we were to the point last year. So that is some very good news regarding real estate. I also got the collection rate compared to last year versus this year. It's on your chart. But the collection rate last year was 89.55. The collection rate this year is 89.83. So they're very similar numbers. So we're doing pretty close to what we were doing last year with that number. The next category, public service, as Ms. Carter's tried to tell you, and you guys know by now, the public service rate goes to the real estate rate. So that number is a little bit lower, $85,622. But when we lowered the tax rate, that was going to be a result of that. So it took that public service rate down some, because the State Corporation Commission assesses those values and the county does not. So the values stay the same, but we lowered the rate, so there's a slight decrease in that. Personal property, we are pretty close, actually with an increase of $72,000 compared to last year. Mobile home taxes, almost dead even on a slight difference of $327, which is a slight decrease. Machinery tools, slight increase of $36,000. Merchants Capital, slight increase of $2,800. Penalty and interest, that's showing a decrease compared to last year of $80,600. So, as I've been giving you these reports, I've been noticing that number's been kind of low every month I give it to you. So, maybe look back at last year and see if last year was the oddball year, and it was. Last year was just a high principal penalty and interest number, so that's why this year seems to be lower, but based on the past 5 years, it's pretty much the same number. County stickers, believe it or not, we're showing an increase in that of $5,500 compared to last year. And the one thing I think we all knew there would be a decrease in sales tax. That's showing an approximate decrease of $95,000. And compared to what the economy's done in the COVID-19, I think that's a pretty close number based on those circumstances. So that's what I have to report. Any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer that you might have.
Mr. Carter, in your opinion, considering everything that's happened in this year since January 1st, would you call this year a success or a failure?
I won't go out and say success or failure yet, because compared to last year, at this point, it's a success. But the numbers you'll see in your audit report, they're based on the whole fiscal year. So July and August, we will accept collect for those months. So those numbers will be put back into this current year, and then you'll know what they compare to versus budget to know if they're a success or not. But so far compared to last year, we're doing pretty good.
That's great.
That's numbers compared to last year.
Yes.
That's not including any new homes that have been built, any new cars that have been bought.
Yes, those are in it. These are collections. So if somebody has a new car, it's in these numbers. So, but I guess what I'm saying, I think that's Matthew was touching on, is that I can't give you a year-to-date number yet because we collect stuff through July and August. So I can't give you end of the year, but I give you as of right now.
But all that tells me is that my collections are up, but then you gotta factor in the cost of the new homes that were built too.
Yes.
So, and that's not shown in your numbers. Okay.
And Carl's been really happy about it. We've been really pleased with the June collections, especially with COVID and the economy the way it is. But we feel like that during that time, a lot of people got the stimulus money and used it, well, evidently to help pay their taxes. And we're not sure about December, because we don't know if that's what's going to be going on in December. But you all, June is really, you should be very pleased. And it did show that a lot of people paid their real estate on time.
Not just that, but also the county stickers, we had an increase in that was due to the board making an amendment to extend it for 30 days.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and then helping waive some of the
waiving those
fees.
fees is a big factor.
So I really do think the citizens appreciated that.
Extending the time in the new gate system.
Yeah, have you heard anything from the state with their forecast?
Not just since that a couple months ago, they gave you the report, they were expecting us to lose over $1 million. I'm getting updated numbers yet.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carter.
Thank you.
Buckingham County usually requests for appropriation from the CARES fund to help offset revenue loss due to COVID-19 pandemic.
Mr. Chairman,
What are they requesting?
how much have they requested, $10,000?
Yes, they didn't have it in their letter, and I talked with them, and we looked at we saw where they collected over $10,000 in fees, and then we saw where they had to reimburse it. So they lost the close to $11,000 in fees that they generally collect.
Yeah.
But they haven't played any sports. So how are they losing revenue? There was no
What
baseball
they're
season.
saying is that, and something I think you all along, is that the football season costs more. So
They're not
they use
playing football
they
right
use
now.
part of the fees that they get, I guess, through baseball and softball.
That's what it is.
I think they had
And
insurance
soccer,
to pay too.
no, soccer's usually.
They had insurance, they still had to keep for their directorship, which is $5,000.
Have you looked at their
Yeah,
numbers?
they show their expenditures in that report that they had to pay. But they did say they would appreciate any amount. And they haven't had concessions down collections like they usually do, sales.
Is there any way we can tie that, I mean, it's evident that it was tied to the COVID-19 stuff, so is there any way we can use some of the CARES money to take care of that?
You can, because they're not for profit. It's the same as what you're doing with the 4-H.
And Mr. Chairman, just a question on that page, Ms. Carter, items 2 through 6 are there, other than item 1, which is, they took it and paid it back, but items 2 through 6 are there, only expenditures, is that right? On the attachment?
Oh, the youth leagues attachment?
Yes, ma'am. I just want to make sure I'm interpreting that correctly.
All right, what's the question again?
The question is that items 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, that's their only income.
Expenses.
Right, their expenses.
Yes. Because they haven't been doing anything.
Right.
Right now, I think that they did have the one team of the, 16, Donnie, you might know the 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds, and they finished up this weekend. That was just one team.
We're doing fall ball.
Well, as of June 30th, they have a balance of $5,034.
They
$2,500
should-
of that has to come out
Yeah.
for their football equipment, so that's gonna leave them with a balance of $2,500 still in their account. I mean, you know, as far as they've already paid the school board, they've already paid Sadler and Company, they've already paid number 3, they've already paid number 2, and number 1 was taken care of, so they're still gonna be, to the good. So, I mean, I don't see where, you know, us giving them money is gonna benefit them.
Okay, I think the way they explained it to me is that it costs more for football equipment and to have the football games than it does baseball.
But there's
so
no-
they use some of those baseball sign-ups to help pay for the football season.
But there's no football season. As of right now, there is no football season because the Virginia High School League is not, the youth league is based off the Virginia High School League. Virginia High School League is not allowing fall sports right now.
Okay, well, they did not tell me that, so that's what they were saying, that that the football season costs more than the ball, so.
Well, I mean, they're number 6, they have enough money to pay for number 6, for their football equipment.
Yeah, they've already,
Have they expended that money?
they said it's approximately $2,500, so I don't believe they have.
Right, but look at their June 30th balance,
The June 30th balance, $5,034.
of which $2,500
Will have to come
has
out.
come out for football
Yeah.
equipment.
Right,
So that's still gonna leave them with a balance of $2,500.
right.
So, I mean, at the current time, my recommendation is no, until such time as they find out if there's gonna be a football season, then they can come back to us then.
See,
That's my motion.
They're paying the light
follow
bill.
Yes.
suit with Virginia High School.
Right, and they have to.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna have to.
So,
I just wonder if the $2,500 is gonna carry them paying the light bill and everything, or do we pay that?
Well, we pay the light
We
bill.
pay it now, they used to pay it. We
Yeah,
pay it.
we pay the light bill.
I'll second that, though.
Okay.
All right, motion made, seconded, we just, don't take any action on this right now
Until we find out for sure.
until it needs to rise.
Or we can always come back though.
Any other discussion?
Okay.
Call for the vote.
Bryant,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles,
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
Motion carried. Holiday Lake 4-H Education Center. Request for an appropriation from the CARES. Was that in the package that you had, Ms. Carter?
Yes, it's the Holiday Lake 4-H Center. Their request is there, and also Virginia Tech has written a letter endorsing their request, where they're requesting an appropriation from the CARES Fund to help offset revenue loss due to the COVID-19 pandemic. They did not have 4-H camp or any of their educational programs, therefore they didn't get any fees.
What's your recommendation, Ms. Carter?
I believe that all of the other counties that they're requesting from the other counties in our region, I'm not sure what they're doing at this point. In talking to some of the administrators, I believe that probably the counties will fund it. I'm not familiar with what programs they carry on the rest of the year. Maybe some of you all might be. But
I know the camp is a big draw.
Counting the 17 counties that are listed, if each county gave $10,000, that's $170,000 for them not to hold any camps. I mean, I'm very curious with this one.
I'll be happy to go back to them and get more information.
And could you find out from the other counties what they're aiming at? Thank you.
We'll take no action on that until we find out what's going on. Consider appointment to the Regional Library Board.
I move, Mr. Chairman, we appoint Monica Williams to the library board as recommended by the president.
Motion made second, we appoint Monica Williams to the library board. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Bryant,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I would also ask if you all would officially take action to express appreciation to Joanne Jones for serving 2 terms on that regional library board.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made, we send her a plaque for recommendation. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Bryant,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
Motion carried. Cass Town of Deal One, consider resolution pertaining to the 38,396.78 money from the town. I think that's kind of a mandatory thing, isn't it?
Yes, and this agreement, the county attorney, Mr. Wright, has pretty much written it for us and of course reviewed it. And Carl Carter and I would work very close with the town of Dillon because there are stipulations of how this has to be spent. But the county will need to adopt this resolution to provide this money to the town of Dillon.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made and seconded. We adopt this resolution, giving on it to allocate the money to Deal One. Any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Bryant,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
Motion carried. I'll consider purchase of the rescue squad vehicle with CARES funding. I think we heard all we need to hear about that. I want to make a motion.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So moved.
Second.
Motion made. Second.
Yes.
Motion second. Motion made and seconded. We use CARES money for the funding of the rescue squad vehicle. Any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Bryant,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
Motion carried. Consider approval of Buckingham County CARES Small Business Grant Opportunity.
So moved.
Motion made. There a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made and seconded. We approve for the small business grant opportunity. Any discussion?
Yes, it looks like 2 board members, Mr. Carter, Ms. Edmonston, For the two board members, Mr. Miles said that he would like to be on it.
I'll serve on it.
Okay.
And I might add that I have listed all the criteria there for what we're calling our Buckingham County Business Support Program. I listed the criteria for eligibility and other specifics of the program. And the committee that I'm asking you to appoint would accept the applications, go through the review process. However, once the applications have been determined to meet the qualifications and the criteria, then the money would have to be transferred to the Industrial Development Authority to make final determinations and grant the awards. So the money would need to, the county can't provide the grants to the businesses, but through the IDA you can.
Mr. Chairman, I've got a question. Ms. Carter, in terms of on page 1 of that agenda item, we're going to be accepting applications until July 30th, 2020, 31st, I should say.
Yes.
Is that enough time, you think, for us to get the word out, and should we look at maybe mid-August for that? I have some concern about getting the word out, and I know we need to act as soon as possible, no doubt, but maybe mid-August, just so we
I
can.
was just thinking a lot of them are opening now and they need the money.
Absolutely, no, I agree with that.
Because a lot of it can be for disinfecting and all for the restaurants and everything that's opening back up. But sure, we can change that date to the middle of August.
Have we considered narrowing the field to those that were not eligible to receive federal funding?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of businesses.
I think that's
that
something we should
all
look
they,
at.
you know, I'm all for helping the business, but there were a lot of opportunities through the federal government to apply.
I think if you apply to the federal government, you received grant.
You got the money.
You got the money. You should not be eligible for this as a local state.
Right. I would like to keep this for those that were not eligible for federal funding.
Nor received any federal funding.
Right. Nor received any federal funding.
That's right, I agree.
And I think this is, on the board's part, a really pro-business action that we all can embrace in terms of, especially the small businesses. And I've talked to a lot of small business owners who are members of the chamber, who are not members of the chamber, and I think they would appreciate it a lot in terms of what Supervisors Matthews and Brun have said. And small businesses are the backbone of our county's economy, I think. So I think this is a good move.
How does someone approach, what do they need to do? Who do they need to contact?
Well, we're going to try to advertise as well as we can, and we're going to go down to and actually try to personally contact the ones. I mean, let's face it, we don't have that many here, so of course we'll put it on our website. We hope the Herald will give us some good press on it, but we will actually try to contact them ourselves.
And the chamber can help out as well, Ms. Carter.
Nikki will work with that with community development. But in case there's any small business owners here or listening in, I'll go down through the criteria for eligibility. One is the length of time in business. You must have been in business for at least 6 months prior to March 1, 2020, and that business owner must apply. That you must have had a significant impact, must demonstrate your reduction in your sales and service. Business must be located in the county of Buckingham. A small business is defined as 20 or fewer employees, whether full-time or part-time equivalents. So those that have a lot of part-time people, still they may qualify if it's the equivalent. They need to be current on their real estate and personal property taxes due prior to March, April, May, June, and July. And the reason I did that through July is some of these businesses may not have been able to pay their taxes because they've been shut down. So if we required that those taxes be paid, when we know that they were shut down and couldn't pay them, so that they need to be current up until that point. Then they are only owners of brick and mortar businesses may apply. If an owner has more than one business, then they may apply only as one business, only for one. that, let's see, and then we went down through, these funds can be used for any of the following purposes: rent or mortgage payments for March, April, May, June, or July; utilities, electric, water, sewer for month of March, April, May, June, or July; inventory needed to restart, and you must show your receipts and purchase and demonstrate that it's needed to be purchased to restart the business; local, you need to show loss of sales revenue; and any personal protective equipment or supplies for cleaning and sterilization of buildings and equipment. So those are some of the, I wanted to get down to where you were talking about, we do have in there if they've received any other federal or state grants and they don't qualify to apply for this.
All right. We have a motion that we approve this small business opportunity.
So moved, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman.
Motion made, is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, that we approve the small business grant opportunity. Discussion. Call for the vote.
Miles?
Yes.
Bryant? Matthews?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Allen?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Chambers?
Yes.
Motion carried. Other matters for board consideration to consider vacating the Atlantic Coast Pipeline special use permit for the construction and operation of a natural gas compressor station in Buckingham County. Any discussion on that?
Yes,
So moved.
I'm sorry to see it, but
Sorry to see it go, but
me too. But,
Do we have a deadline that we had to wait for?
huh?
no, they've already,
They're done.
they're done. They sold it to,
Berkshire Hathaway.
Yes, we've given you their press release where for Buckingham, the project's been suspended. Therefore, I believe we should suspend the special use permit, particularly if someone else may come along and want to do it. We would not want that to transfer.
Motion made, second, that we vacate the ACP special use permit. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Bryant?
Yes.
Matthews?
Yes.
Brian?
yes.
Allen?
Yes.
Miles?
Yes.
Chambers?
Yes.
One thing on that, Mr. Chairman, I do think that the gas tap that was negotiated between the county and Con Ed and some of the other parties was going to be a game changer for the economy of this county, and I'm sorry to see that go.
Okay.
With a good tax revenue.
Oh, yes.
Had the potential.
County attorney doesn't have anything. Ms. Carter?
Yes, mine, first one is notice of award of harvesting of the hay in the industrial park. We only received one quote on that from Tim Farah, and that's for $50 for 40 acres of hay in our industrial park site. We've already received the money from that, and I've awarded that to him. I've provided you with a notice regarding the cancellation of the 2020 tractor pull, and that is due to COVID that they have canceled that. Notice of the grant award for the school resource officer. I have signed that due to a matter of time, but I wanted to notify you that we have been awarded that grant, and it will be processed through the school system and the sheriff's department. I've provided you with an update on the Central Virginia Electric Cooperative Broadband Network, and gives you some kind of a milestones there. I know for a fact that some people up toward Appomattox, but in our county, have already connected, and they said it's great service. So that's good to see, to talk to some people that already have that. And a very nice, a lot of times we don't hear the good things, that a very nice appreciation letter from the Gravel Hill community for the new solid waste facility at Gravel Hill. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
The ground hill certainly looks nice, I'll tell you, that really does, really improvement.
As you get to the next item, the second item on there for closed session, I would ask you to strike that. We do not need to go in under that code, just the first code.
Okay.
Just prospective business code?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Other board matters before we go in?
Yes, sir. I do. I have some VDOT matters.
I do too, Mr. Chairman.
I'd like to put on the record.
Yeah, for my first one for VDOT, can you contact VDOT about that study for Route 15
Yes.
as addressed tonight?
As addressed tonight, yes, sir.
The Highway Safety Commission.
Yeah. Also, thanks to the Rescue Squad Committee
Yes.
for your hard work. You guys did a fantastic job. That's all I got done.
Okay. I've got several roads. I don't mind calling Scott Frederick if you have his number, Ms. Carter.
Yes, we have his number, and he's real good at responding to email too.
Okay, I'm just gonna put it on out there for the record, but State Route, I don't know the number, but the name of the road is Crescent Road. There are several potholes at the end of the transition strip on the north end of Crescent Road. It's a loop road. It's right there below Shepherd's. The other road is Old Shepherd's Road. They had an issue with it last year. They put 2 coats of tar on it, and people were getting tar all over their cars. The kids were getting all over their bikes. It was in this 90-degree weather. They need to put some more material on that road to absorb the tar that's pumping back through the heat. Yeah. So, and then State Route 769, which is Highview Road. They still have a pile of dirt in the right-hand ditch about halfway down the road that's been there for over a year when they actually came in and scraped the roads, and they never came back and moved the material out of the ditch. I've asked them about it last year. They still haven't done anything about it. And there's also every time they take the motor grader down there, they take it over on someone else's property, and on the shoulder road, turning around, they cut a great big rut that's about 3 feet deep with the motor grader that never used to be there. And I don't see why they can't just cross 15, get turned around and go on down the road. They don't need to tear up somebody's property doing that stuff. So if they know how to operate a piece of machinery. But if you can give me his number, I'll call him to reiterate these facts.
I've got some VDOT concerns, Mr. Chairman, if I may. The first one is that VDOT did a traffic study on 15 south of Sprouse's Corner, right at Sprouse's Corner, due to a petition we had presented by Jesse Warner, who lives on that stretch of road in January, excuse me. And VDOT did move the sign. They moved it 0.3 miles south of where it was previously changed. That's going to do some good, but the residents in that area wanted it at the intersection of Andersonville Road and 15, where people can actually begin to slow down when they approach that area. I'd like to see that sign moved. There are 17 children that live on that stretch of road, and I don't think it was very adequate. That study wasn't much if it only resulted in a sign moving 0.35 miles south of where it was. So I'd like to see that sign moved to where the residents want it, at the intersection of Andersonville Road and 15 South. There's a crumbling portion of road on Troublesome Creek that I'm going to get with Mr. Scott on. It's right near the intersection of 60 and Troublesome Creek. And the business sign that shows like Pino's and McDonald's, that blue sign, if you're headed on 60 East, the middle school's on the left, the sign was on the right. That sign's been knocked down and has been down for some time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anything else for me?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we go into executive closed session under code 2.2-3711.8.5. Discussion concerning a prospective business or industry or the expansion of an existing business or industry where no previous announcement has been made of the business or industry's interest in locating or expanding its facilities in the community.
All right.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made, second, we're going to second session. The discussion, call for the vote.
Bryant,
Yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles,
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
I move that we return to open session.
I second.
And certification that to the best of each board member's knowledge, only business matters related to the code of which the executive meeting was convened was discussed or considered in the closed executive session.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
All right, motion made, second, we come back to open session, any other discussion? Open vote,
Bryant,
yes.
Matthews,
Yes.
Bryan,
Yes.
Allen,
Yes.
Miles.
Yes.
Chambers.
Yes.
All right, motion carried, we back in open session.
We need to adjourn until the 20th, Becky?
Recess to reconvene.
Recess, excuse
Recess to
me.
reconvene on the 20th for a work session with the planning commission on the comp plan.
At 7 o'clock, not 6 o'clock.
They do it at 7, right?
What time?
You don't get an extra hour.
7 o'clock. And it's cutting into my beauty sleep. And I need all the sleep I can get.
They
All right.
I ain't no invitation.
I said it so you didn't have to.
This is our room.
They come when we say.
We could say.
Yeah.
Can we do 6 o'clock? Why don't we do 6 o'clock? Seriously.
Yeah, I would rather do 6.
All right,
Do you have time to let them
Can
know?
we do 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
We're gonna be here for a while.
It's fine with me. I mean,
meeting adjourned until,
Do you need a motion for that?
The board says they prefer.
What do you think, Joe, 6 o'clock?
they've already planned for 7 too, I mean, we get a 6.
You can make a motion for that?
What do you think?
Is it advertised for that?
We haven't advertised.
They haven't advertised for it.
We don't have to
We
advertise.
can update the calendar.
Yeah, we don't have to advertise.
meeting adjourned and we reconvened in July 20th, 7 o'clock.
Is that-
So,
Yeah.